Hello and welcome to the Chamber Corner. We are here live today at the Pleasant Shade Restaurant, and as usual, Billy's busy, but I'm Janie Pettigo and I'm the co-host of the Chamber Corner. Billy, are you ready to start our program today?
Oh, we started. Oh.
Yeah, I tell you what, Billy is multi-talented. We heard him play the piano a few minutes ago.
Well, you see, they got all these instruments here, and I was trying to check them all out. I apologize. Let me put this one back on the wall. By the way, if you come here, do you know you can just take an instrument off the wall and just play it?
Yeah, they do have a wide variety of instruments here, a number of things, but we'll show you some of that a little bit later. But
can you hold this for me?
Yes,
while
I'll hold this,
I'm going
and
to put this away.
you can hear me double loud now. But this is a great place, and I'm telling you, the food is awesome. We just got through eating some dessert, and I'm definitely coming back, and I've heard the food is wonderful too. So with that said,
well,
Billy?
I had a meal here. It's been about 2 weeks ago. Came in and had a meal. And if you're out there and you don't realize it, if you're in downtown Carthage and you want a hot meal and you want to come get something good, it's only 6.5 miles away. And that's the Pleasant Shade Restaurant.
Yeah, it's really not that far, and it's a beautiful drive, especially this time of year, because the trees are going to start turning. And by the time you hear this, they may have already started turning for sure.
Oh yeah, fall is fast approaching.
That is true, and some people listen to this towards the end of October. We're actually taping this early in October, but they may be listening to it all month, so the weather could change drastically, right?
And Janie told me I needed to look like a pumpkin, so
I know, we dressed in our Halloween attire because it's October, and where's your Bubba teeth?
What?
Your Bubba teeth.
Later.
Oh, we got a surprise for you later.
Later, maybe. I'm not sure how we're going to handle that.
Okay. I may have let the cat out of the bag.
Well,
okay.
Janie told me to dress up, and when I got here, she said, well, I couldn't find any of my stuff. So.
I know. I was going to do the Groucho Marx glasses and everything today, and I went to Walmart. They didn't have any. It's not my fault. I tried.
Maybe later. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, we'll surprise them. What have we got on the agenda today?
Well, today we're going to be talking about Pleasant Shade activities. Mr. Wesley Rigsby is going to come up and talk to us. And then Steve and Sheila Burns, who are our hosts here today at the Pleasant Shade Restaurant, they're going to come and talk to us a little bit and tell you about what they've done here. This is really a nice place and a part of the community. And you know, you can hear stuff going on here. They're serving and working, and that's exactly the way we want it, because you can see that this is a real live place, and there's a lot of fun things that go on here. And I know we'll be talking about that later on. FCE regional winners, you were going to talk about that later on.
I want to congratulate a few people.
And then we were going to talk about Halloween safety. I know it's something that would be on all of our minds, and we need to talk about that a little bit. And so Janie's going to talk about that. And then I was also going to give you some highlights of the William Walton Days that we just had this past Saturday at Carthage on the grounds of the historic courthouse. So we got a pretty good lineup.
We sure do. Are you ready?
Well, I'm ready to start. I tell you what I would like to do, if you want, I will talk about the William Walton Days, and again, I'm going to leave you stranded, I think, because...
That's okay?
No, there it is. You see that shirt over on the piano?
I'll hold it up for you.
If you would hold that up, and if you can see that logo, that was our William Walton Days official shirt that we had, and it was our first one, and we're going to do it annually. So we're going to have another one next year on September the 27th.
September 27th. Would you tell them who William Walton was? I've had several people ask me.
Okay, William Walton was one of the founding fathers of our area. There was about 20 Revolutionary War soldiers that settled in this area, and he was one of those. He was a captain. Also, there was a gentleman named Captain Daniel Smith, who the county is named after, and they all lived in this area. William Walton and Tillman Dixon came up, actually, the river. They called it the Shawnee River at the time. We called it the Cumberland. And they settled in this area, and William Walton settled at the mouth or the end of the Caney Fork River, where it spills into the Cumberland River.
Right.
And William Walton, what he did is he had a grant for, I think it was 1,500 acres, and he wanted to start a town here, and there's quite a story if you want to read about it in the history book, and I'm hoping somebody will make a play about it, but there's quite a story about where the county seat would be.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
It's very interesting. Smith County has not always been a quiet and docile place. It probably not as quiet and docile now as we think it is.
It's probably not.
But there was a lot went on back then, and he donated, basically he sold to the city of Carthage the land to put the city on for $1. And so Mr. Walton started the town there, and then he was basically given permission by the Continental Congress at the time to blaze a trail.
Oh, wow.
Every one of the settlers that came in, because of the fact that there were so many buffalo and bears and wildcats and other things that would be trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
On the trail, that they had to come up the river and they had to come up the backside. So what he did is he blazed a trail starting in Carthage that went from there all the way to Roane County, where Clinch Valley is, through the Cumberland Gap. And then they would put a settlement or a store at like a day's journey apart, so that if you were a settler and you were traveling during that time, you'd have a safe haven to come to and a place to get water and food and feed for your animals.
Was he kin to Sam Walton?
Well, there's a little speculation about that.
Was that the first Walmart? Like, because there's a lot of them now too.
Well, he seemed to have the idea, and he seemed to be doing well at it. But I don't know that there's any connection or not. The funny thing is that his gravesite is right on the edge of the local Carthage Walmart.
I know,
and
that's just amazing.
And they've been very generous about letting us use the property for parking and things like that. So,
could be, you never know.
You never know. He might have been one of the early ancestors.
Yeah.
But William Walton Days is a celebration of his birthday, and he lived from 1760 until 1816, and so we're trying to portray the period of time there that he was in, and give people kind of a flavor of what it was like to live back during those days. We had demonstrators that were demonstrating spinning. We had a blacksmith there. We had people doing soap and baskets. We had furs on display like they would use to trap. And I'm probably forgetting a couple of things that we had. We had a little cabin on site. Then, of course...
Folks were dressed up really in period clothing, correct?
Yeah, we encouraged people to dress in something around the 1790s or something like that. That was during the period of time when, George Washington was president. The country was kind of getting started. And Tennessee, I know it's hard to believe as far away as it is from Philadelphia and Washington and Maryland and all those places, but Tennessee had a big part in what went on in the Revolutionary War.
Wow.
And it's proof of that is all the history that we have here with those Revolutionary War soldiers that settled here.
Right. It's so, it got me involved in not only history when I came here back in 1983 to work, but it also made me excited about antiques and everything. So I can blame all my antiques and all that interest on coming to Smith County to work.
Well, it's a county that is rich in history.
Yes,
and
it is.
The one thing that I think that's good about this, the state, they did the Walton Road. And the Walton Road basically follows generally Highway 70, and it starts up in Roane County and it comes this way. And we've got brochures at the chamber that you can pick up, and also at the Visitor Center over at the interstate that's in Smith County.
Right.
And you can pick up those brochures, and you can actually follow the Walton Road, the steps that they made coming down, and there's historic sites all along that, and there's a lot of history in there, and the state's really pushing that. And you can go to waltonroad.com and look that up. You can also go to smithcountychamber.com or .org, and you can look that up as well.
Did you have a good crowd? I mean...
we had a supper that night. We fed roast, beans, potato salad, and we'll get into who some of the people that supplied that later. And cobbler, some of the best cobbler I ever put in my mouth, and corn fritters, and tea. and it was a really good supper, and we served somewhere north of 300 people.
Wow, wow. Well, I'm definitely going to eat there next year. I had another thing I had to be at that I heard good things about it.
Well, a lot of folks commented on the food, and it was really good. And I did get to eat there toward the end, and I can say it was one of the better meals I've had in my life, and I really enjoyed it very well. And we had a lot of folks, they didn't have a ticket. They didn't sit at the table, but they went and got a plate, and they went and sat over in the picnic area, and we had a good setup. We also had the author of the Walton Road, Professor Calvin Dickinson. He was in the courthouse.
Oh.
The archives were open.
Oh, wow.
And we had a bank set up that would be similar to what would be during that period of time set up in the courthouse.
Okay.
And so we had a lot of exhibits and things to do and see.
And you had some skits, I understand?
Yeah, we had people portray historic figures, and if I start naming them, I'll forget some of them, but I know Tillman Dixon was there, a really good presentation.
Okay.
Miss Faith Young talked about Dixon Springs. We had John Lancaster was there, John Gordon and his wife, and I forget her name, but there were several people portraying different folks in the community. Mm-hmm. The best ones were some of the young men. Daniel Smith was portrayed. Some of the young men that portrayed those were really good. They did an excellent job. They had the muskets, and then I guess our probably key was Mr. William Walton himself. Mr. B.J. Rich portrayed him, and Miss Vonda Dixon was Miss Sarah. Walton.
Wow.
And that was really good.
I've got to see this next year.
Well, we made a video of several. Well, a lot of it, and we'll have that come out, and you'll be able to see some of that on the website.
Is that going to be on your website?
Yeah,
okay.
SmithCountyChamber.org.
SmithCountyChamber.org. So we got to look that up, folks, and we got to see it if you didn't get to be there.
Okay, we're back with you here, and we've got Mr. Wesley Rigsby. He's a local Pleasant Shade resident, and he's going to tell us about some of the happenings here in Pleasant Shade. This is a pretty busy place, isn't it, Wesley?
Oh, it sure is.
Yeah, I know you got a lot of stuff going on here at the restaurant and then also down at the community center.
Right.
Now, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of turn it over to you and let you just do a little talking, and you just hit the highlights of anything that you want to, and I'll ask you questions if something comes up that I think I want to know, but you just go right ahead.
I sure will. The community center, we started this back in, it was organized back in 2010, and we use the community center for different events that go on. We have fundraisers there. We've had people that had birthdays, reunions. They've done just get-togethers, and we do rent the rooms out. We rent the gym out. And some of the upcoming events we've got is in October the 13th. There's a local boy from here. He lives in Hermitage right now, but John Rich, and he's adopting a child from China, and he's having a fundraiser up there on the 13th. That's on a Sunday afternoon for that. Then we have coming up the following Saturday on the 19th, a wedding rehearsal. There was a couple of Smith County people that are getting married, and the children are, and they're having having a dinner up there for that. And then one of the main events we've got coming up in October the 2nd, it's always the first Saturday in October, we have a fall expo and a craft fair. And we have people, the vendors that come up, and we set them around in the gym and any parts of the school that we need to use them on. And they come up and they're able to sell their product and demonstrate their product or whatever they want to do with it. And that is the next big event that we do, and that's one of the things that we do for a fundraiser to be able to keep the community center open.
Okay, well now I know you had some yard sales here earlier on in the year. You're going to do that every year as well?
We're also going to do that every year. We had one in July, and it was pretty hot, so they decided to do it next year in April. But we had a big consignment sale. People brought stuff up, and the community center was able to make money off of it, and the people made money off of selling their stuff.
Okay, so the community center then, if I was in Lancaster and I'd never been to Pleasant Shade, how would I find this place?
Well, we have it on, it's on Facebook, and Then, other than that, it's just by talking to people. And you see,
we come up Highway 80.
or you see advertisement around that we do where we put things in the paper.
Well,
events.
We're sitting at the Pleasant Shade restaurant right now. So is it further on away from Carthage?
Right down the road here, just about 200 yards.
Okay. And is it open just during these events, or do you have meetings or anything like that?
We have a board. We are 501c3, and we have a board. We meet every month. We also have an annual meeting. We have members, and we have 110 members.
So if somebody wanted to support this, they could actually join?
Sure, they can join it, and our membership is not but $5, so it's real cheap. But it's anybody that has an interest, lives around here. We have people that have lived in Pleasant Shade and live in Georgia. They're members. They've had a big reunion up here of some families and that. And then we've also had a school reunion going back years. And we had about 150 people up there that day.
Boy, that's quite a crowd. Now, let me make sure I understand this. If you become a member, then you get to use the community center. Is that right?
No, everybody has to pay.
Everybody pays a fee. Okay.
You do get have a say-so on the board members that you have. We have a board.
Right.
They're able to vote on that, and also we use them as their emails, and we notify them events going on up here.
Okay. Now, what does it cost? Like, for instance, if I wanted to. If I joined and I wanted to use the community center for a Saturday and it was open, what would it cost?
For the gym, it's $100, and for a room, it's $50.
Okay.
So you can do it, and you'll have it. It could be an all-day event, or it could be just a few hours, whichever way you want to use it.
Well, and what I like about this is really close to, like, Cordell Hull Lake is just over here, and the campgrounds and all the other things that are right here in the area for the camping. And then if somebody wanted to have a reunion or something like that, or a dinner, and they couldn't have it at like the campground or something, they could come and have it there.
They sure could.
Yeah. Well, now what else do you guys do? Anything else?
Well, we have talked about getting some basketball games. We've had some practicing basketball up there, some of the junior high schools practicing ball, and we've been talking about, and that was one of the big things before the school was closed, is that you had junior pro up there, and we've talked about that, and we've been working some with the fire hall here. The fire hall is built on a new building, and of course they had to borrow money, and they're going to have to pay that back, and they're doing it through donations right now, but they're talking about having an event, and we've talked about that we would split with them and help them out also.
Okay.
Because they're just right next door here.
Well, this is a very good community. Everybody seems to work together pretty good.
Right, they do.
Are there any other landmarks or unknown sites that I know? Well, actually, the Overlook is not on this highway. It's on down in toward Carthage to the Center Hill. I mean, Cordell Hull.
Nothing that I really know of.
Okay, so if you come through here, you're going to see a lot of beautiful farmland, and I know they just redid the road down there here, just not too far.
Yes,
at the bluff, and so it's got a real nice, drive in here. I understand that a lot of motorcycle groups come through here and ride through here because they like the highway and the scenery.
They do, and they go on up to Red Boiling and on up into Kentucky and stuff, and they come by here, and several of them stop here at times.
Yeah.
And they have meetings here.
Okay.
They get-togethers.
All right. Well,
and there's another event we got coming up is also in November. It's always the third Saturday in November is our fall festival and cakewalk.
Okay.
And we have a turkey dinner, ham dinner. And we serve and also have a fall festival, and that's also for raising funds for our community center.
Okay, now that's in November.
That's in November.
That's sort of like a Thanksgiving celebration. Sure. Now, do you do anything in December?
No, sir, we do not. Our gym and that, we have got heat put in our rooms, and that's one thing that school didn't have. They had an old coal stoker, and now it doesn't work. So our gym and that is not heated. But we do have some rooms in that we've got and put gas heat in them. And we also have our cafeteria fixed up where the people that's having the wedding rehearsal and that is going to be using it. That we've got our kitchen where people can come in and cook and do what they want to and serve out of it.
So that building is a real asset to the community, isn't it?
It still is, yes, and we're working on it all the time,
Well, now,
fixing it up more.
I don't want to miss anything in the summer. Is there anything that comes to mind in the spring or in the summer
Well,
that you
in the
haven't
fall,
mentioned?
always we have in a gospel singing Labor Day. It's the Sunday before Labor Day that we have a gospel singing up there. And we'll have 2 or 3 groups that will come and sing, and that's also a fundraiser for the community center. There's a local group around here, the Mid-State Quartet,
Right.
Gary and Janice Gregory, and they have always wanted to put on just a gospel singing and that for the people in the community.
Yeah, and I've heard them. They're quite good.
They are quite good,
Yeah.
real good.
Well, Wesley, thank you for being with us. Is there
appreciate
anything
it.
we've missed?
I think that covers it about all. And that
Okay.
we people, anytime people want to do things and that, we will be willing to talk to them. We got a form in that they need to fill out, and so we got rules and regulations that they go by.
Okay,
So,
but
it's not that hard to do.
not that hard, and they can do it. Boy, I'll tell you, we're having a lot of fun here at the Pleasant Shade store.
we
In
are.
fact, I'm trying to tell Janie that I can go over here and play the piano and she could sing. But I'm not getting much headway on that, so I guess we'll move on to the next thing that we were going to talk about is
Trust me, they don't want to hear me sing.
You don't think so?
No.
I'm sure there's some music in there.
Let me tell you some better news. How about that?
Well, I think we're going to talk about FCE winners.
Yes, we are going to talk about
I
FCE.
guess we'll do that, and I'll just sit over here and hum.
You know, one of the groups, Billy, and to our audience that I work with, that I really, to me, they are the foundation of Extension, and that is the FCE clubs, and that stands for Family and Community Education Clubs. These groups were started about 100 years ago.
Really? I
Yes.
didn't realize that.
Smith County, the first agent, if I'm not mistaken, started in 1912.
Really?
Yeah, and we had a year or two there where there wasn't an agent, but the clubs continued, and they were named home demonstration clubs because the extension agent, the home economics agent, like myself, we're now called Family and Consumer Science agents for the University of Tennessee, went to the homes and demonstrated. Now back then, you know, it was started so that the university could be extended into the communities. Thus, we were called University of Tennessee Extension.
Right.
And those home demonstration clubs years ago, that was the thing to do. Other than church, that was the thing to do. Women dressed up, wore hats and gloves, everything.
Could I interrupt you? And
Sure.
say, I'd just like to say something
Okay.
to these folks out here. My mom was in the home demonstration club, and she loved it, and she really got a lot of enjoyment and respected all the people that were involved in it and really loved what they did. And I want to say, if you are a lady out there and you're in FCE, I want to especially thank you for the help that you gave us during William Walton days. What I discovered during that is that this is a really powerful group of ladies.
It is.
If you need something done and you want it done correctly and you want it done on time, you call the FCE, and I'm telling you, they are right there. I was very, very impressed with their performance and what they did.
It is amazing because they are a service organization, but they're also an educational organization. Many of these women go through leadership training, family and community leadership training. They actually go out of the county to attend these training sessions, so they learn about public policy and other things. But yes, the ladies have come to the aid of a lot of groups, including the William Walton days. And recently, I think we've said this before, they raised over $1,000, or right at $1,000, I think, for the Relay for Life in just 3 hours.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when they put their heads together, I'm telling you, they are a powerful group.
They
And
are
by the
impressive.
way, there are men now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have about 5 or 6 male members in the FCE clubs. We cannot discriminate, and we don't want to, because they're a wonderful asset. In fact, we've got some male members that are secretaries, program leaders. I mean, it's changed.
Boy,
a
it has
whole
changed a
lot.
lot, because I know
It
when
sure
my
has.
mom was in it, it was strictly ladies, and
Yep.
most of them were homemakers, but I guess you've got a wide variety and range
We do.
of members now.
We have let's see, we just turned in dues for 2014. We had 180 members.
Wow.
And we have over that already, and right now for 2013, we have close to 200. And that's just in this county. We have one of the larger, I guess you would say, membership groups of this kind. There's about 2,200 members in Tennessee. We have about 200 of those right here in Smith County.
Wow.
So we have a very strong program. I think the county mayor, Michael Nesbitt, said, I believe you've got one of the best FCE groups in the state, and I agree with you, Mayor Nesbitt. I
well,
think
I'd
so
have
too.
to agree with that as well.
I want to brag on a few of these ladies,
Okay.
just for a minute. There weren't any men that participated in this, or that won, I should say. There were some that participated, but I'd like to share with you. We recently had a regional competition in Murfreesboro, and we had 15 Smith County FCE members that attended. It was a wonderful event, and I'd like to just share with the group some winners. In cultural arts, there are 48 categories in cultural arts, and this is things like basket making, oil painting, all that kind of thing, and photography and so forth. Well, Greta Kirby from the Riddleton Club won first place in color photography. Vona Atkinson won first place in quilted wall hangings. Anna Mae Langford won second in hand-pieced, hand-quilted quilts, and Buddy, can she quilt?
Yeah.
Nancy Hackett received second in hand embroidery. And also, we had a fashion review competition. This is where the ladies make their clothing. And, you know, that is an art that's leaving us. We just don't have a whole lot of handmade clothing anymore. People can buy it at Walmart, and they don't take the time to make it. But I want to congratulate in the fashion review competition, Miss Reba McCall from the Riddleton Club. She won first place in suit and dressy ensemble, and second place in blazers and jackets. And Jill Carter won first place in blazers and jackets. Ann Wagner won first place in children's teen wear. So we had several winners there, and last but not least, in the creative writing category, I think there's like 6 or 8 categories in that, where ladies can, and men can, write news articles, they can write poetry, short stories, or whatever. Greta Kirby and Ann Wagner both were big winners in that. Greta took first place in short stories, third in poetry and essays and children's stories, while Ann Wagner took second in essays. Now, each of these first and second place winners will go on to state competition, which will be in Franklin in November. So we may have even bigger winners by the time, well, not by the time we do our next round of taping for the cable show, but we'll know probably in January, 1st of December rather, who won in state.
Boy, that's going to be great. I know a lot of those ladies that you named there, and I'll tell you, they're first class.
Yes, they are. They're hardworking folks, and there's a whole lot more of them. But congratulations, all you FCE members. You're wonderful. We love you.
Boy, we're still at the Pleasant Shade Restaurant, and it is really good. I don't know if you can see all these pies and cakes, but they are really, really good. About 2 weeks ago, Shirley, was it Sheila? Sheila, I'm wanting to call you Shirley for some reason. Sheila, it was about 2 weeks ago I came over, right?
You did?
Yeah, I came over here, and I had really never been in the restaurant in a long time, and I came in, it was kind of late, and I looked over there, and the food looked so good. I said, well, you still serving? She said, well, sure. And I had roast and potatoes and gravy, and I think I had Texas toast and tea. And then she said, well, we've got pie. And I don't remember that day if it was buttermilk pie or chest pie.
It was buttermilk pie.
Buttermilk pie. And I'm telling you, I have never had anything any better. I want to thank you for that good meal. And it was wonderful. And you know, it's only 6.5 miles from the center of Carthage to here. So if you're wanting lunch, this is a good place to come to. But Sheila, I really appreciate you feeding me that day. And I know, what was it? It was probably about 2 o'clock or something like that, and you still had food.
I did.
Well, I noticed that day when I was talking to you, you said that you have a lot of people come through here and pass by all times of the day. So you're open. What hours are you open?
We're open Monday through Thursday from 6 a.m. until 3 p.m. on Friday and Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then we're open for lunch on Sunday from 11 to 3.
Boy, that's a good thing to know. I need to come over here on a Sunday. And yeah, that's a good thing.
We have a feast on Sunday.
Yeah, well, now this is Sheila and Steve Burns, and they are the owners of the Pleasant Shade Restaurant, and we're so proud to have you guys in the community. And I think Janie was going to ask you a few questions. She didn't know for sure about your history and everything. And Janie, didn't you have some questions?
Yeah, well, if you're like me, you always are looking for a great meat and three place, and they definitely have it. But I've got to brag on the desserts because I had the fudge pie. It was awesome, and you can see we got some wonderful desserts. So now you've only been here 4 years, is that right?
4 years.
4 years. And tell us how you're not originally from Smith County, correct?
No, ma'am. Originally from Murfreesboro.
Murfreesboro. Now, how did you get to Pleasant Shade, Tennessee from Murfreesboro?
We retired. Well, I retired a few years before he did, and he retired in 2008. And we actually came to camp over here at Defeated Creek in October of 08. And we actually lived in the park until November of 09 when we bought this building. We worked as volunteer for the Corps of Engineers.
Oh, wow.
We
Okay.
just fell in love with Smith County, and then we have family over in Elmwood. So we absolutely love the county and the people of Pleasant Shade.
Now, see, from what I understand, the people of Pleasant Shade really love you all too. Share with our listening audience a little bit about what has happened and about the flood and how they came to help you through that. Do it. You want to say anything? Do you want to? You gonna let her talk, Steve?
She talks better than I do.
We did flood. We opened in February of 09, and in April of 09, we did flood. We had 18 inches of water in this building, and it was the most amazing sight. At Water's Edge, on both ends of our big town here, there was people waiting. When the water receded, including Wesley Rigsby, who you just talked with, and his son, and there was 21 people waiting for the water to go down. And as soon as the water went down, everyone rushed in, and we began cleaning out the mud and cleaning up the equipment. They came in and cleaned the carpets, the woodwork. By 1 o'clock in the morning, the mud was out of the building.
And you didn't ask them to come?
Oh, no, I didn't have to ask them. They were there. And that's the way this community is. This is the most giving community I have ever known. I wish everyone had that positive experience that we've had. These are giving people. But by 1 o'clock in the morning, the mud was gone, and you couldn't even tell that it had flooded inside the building.
That's amazing.
The next day, it gets better. The next day, the houses below us had also flooded. So volunteers were down there working, and they were up here working. We had all the chairs and all the stuff to clean, and we kind of threw together lunch, breakfast and lunch for all the volunteers, and we set it up outside under the gas awning. We couldn't come into the building. Carpets and all were wet. So over the next 2 days, all the volunteers and people from the community kind of flocked in to look after and take care of each other. But we had the grandest
Wow.
time. Even though I couldn't cook, I fed them bologna sandwiches, and you would be so shocked at how many bologna sandwiches I made for the next week or so. But
That's
it
awesome.
was an amazing gift, and for that, we'll always appreciate the people of Pleasant Shade.
That's a wonderful testimony.
Cafe dining in Pleasant Shade.
That's right. Outdoor cafe dining at Pleasant Shade Restaurant.
Yes.
But that's a wonderful testimony to the people here. That is so great that you had that experience, and it also proves that some really good things come out of that visitors at the campground over there. Because
Yes.
look at these two wonderful people that we gained because
That's right.
of that. And you said you had some folks that you're kin to over in Elmwood.
I do.
So you have roots in Smith County, even though you were living over in Murfreesboro.
We raised our children in Murfreesboro, and I worked in Nashville, and he worked in Laverne. So it wasn't really practical for us to raise our children here. But yes, we raised all 6 of our children in Murfreesboro.
Now, I understand that on Friday nights you have all-you-can-eat catfish, and Steve, you shared with me that you all bought some instruments. Tell us about why you bought the instruments, and tell us about that.
Well, as we were remodeling the store, and people was telling us this there's a lot of untouched talent up here.
Yes.
That, people here that are musically talented that somebody needs to hear. And we thought that'd be a great deal to get the instruments and get them on the wall, make them available if anybody wanted to come in and play.
And so you have a piano, and what else do you have over there?
We have a guitar, acoustic guitar, electric guitar,
I noticed a
mandolin,
upright
violin, bass, electric bass. What else we got up there?
Oh, well, I don't know. We've got several guitars, but we've got instruments of all kinds. The beginning of the music center actually started when we were in construction. We spent 6 months renovating the building, and we had an old guitar that laid out here, and you would be surprised. The neighbors would stop by to see, when are you going to open, or how far, or they'd just come in to hang out, or they'd come in to help us work, actually. And we had an old guitar out here, and first one and another would come in and they'd pick it up and play a little bit. The next thing you know, we've got a mandolin and the same thing's happening. And then Joe Stillwell brings in a banjo. Well, here we are. We've got all these instruments, and they're just laying here. And contractors, people passing by, neighbors coming in, they just started picking them up and playing them. So when we opened the store, we decided, this is awesome. We enjoyed it so much during construction after a long day of work. We decided to just expand the music center, and it has been an awesome experience.
And this is open to anybody that wants to come play.
It's open to anybody that wants to come play, and that's what makes it so special. It doesn't matter if you can sing, who cares? If you're having fun trying, we don't care. If you can play, hey, we'll clap for you regardless. But no, anyone is welcome to come and join us. Come play with us. We have a great time.
I like the rules. I might even be able to fit in that.
Me too.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to ask you about. Now, about how many folks can you serve here at one time?
At one time here, we can serve up to 60, but for large parties, we can expand to 80 or 90.
So you can handle quite a crowd then. So if people come in on Sunday, they'll get a meal. They won't have to wait very long at all.
Absolutely. Sunday is a quick run through because the food's already prepared. We have an enormous food bar on Sunday. Our food here is fresh meats, fresh vegetables. And on Sunday we put out usually 3 to 4 meats, assorted meats, and 8 to 10 vegetables, 8 to 10 desserts, salads.
My goodness.
You can get about anything you want. I promise you won't go home hungry.
Yeah, and the day I was here, they had fresh tomatoes that went with my meal too,
goodness.
so it was really good. Another thing I noticed, I got a lot of rockers on the front porch, and they seem to be occupied every time I come by.
Oh, I have got to tell you a story about those rockers. This is really to show you how the place works. We're open one Saturday, and we have a bluegrass group that centers out of Pleasant Shade called the Pleasant Shade Pickers. Well, it's Terry Lynn Weaver and Roger Reed, George Carver, Harold Smith, some really good musicians. Well, and then we've got another group called the After Hours, which is the younger kids, and they play pretty much the same, different kinds of music, but music that everyone likes. Well, one Saturday afternoon, I've got the kids all playing here in the music center. The bluegrass, the Pleasant Shade Pickers were all playing out in the parking lot. And then on the front porch sits the elderly gentleman led by Mr. Harold Halliburton singing gospel. Where
Wow.
else could you have 3 genres of 3 different kinds of music?
Yeah.
And all you had to do was turn around, you could have your choice.
That's awesome.
But we are so proud of that. We are so proud. We have been very, very lucky with the support we've gotten from the community, the people of Smith County, Macon. I mean, we're very blessed.
And you're a new chamber member, right?
I am.
Well, and we're very glad to have them. That's another thing is good chamber members help build the business in Smith County, and it helps every one of the other chamber members.
That's
So
true.
we're really glad that you're a member. One other thing I wanted to mention, a lot of motorcycle tourists come through here, and this is one of the stops, I believe,
It is.
for when they're going down the road. And I don't know how many cycles have you seen out there at one time?
Oh, one
Look on the
Saturday.
collage, you see a bunch of them.
Yes, we have a collage with all kinds of pictures through all the different phases we've been through. But on one Saturday afternoon, it was an amazing experience. LoJack employees brought 78 bikes in. Steve retired from Caterpillar, Thompson Machinery. They brought 28 bikes in. And then there was another independent club of 14 bikes. The neighbors were sitting on the hill above the store looking at the bikes. They couldn't get near the store. They were lining the highway when they were lining the road. But yes, we are on several of the primary bike rides. But
That's
of course,
awesome.
it's a beautiful area.
It is, and it's a great
Right.
road through here.
Oh, it is a great road.
It's a good place to ride, and folks like that. And you noticed you said LoJack and Caterpillar and another club, and those guys come through here, and a lot of them are old gray-haired guys like me riding a bike going through their second childhood. Is that right?
That's okay. We
Yeah.
we all have that phase, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I rode a motorcycle most of my life, and I can attest that there's a lot of good people out there on bikes that are riding them. And one of the bike clubs that I know of, they actually do a fundraiser for several good causes, and so we're glad that they've got a good place like this to stop. Well, Janie, is there anything else?
Well, I just wanted to ask, what is your phone number here if they need to call to make sure that you're open? What's the number, Steve?
It's the Pleasant Shade Exchange, which is 677, and this one's going to be hard to remember. 0000.
Oh my, 677 is going to be the hard part. 0000. You're open 7 days a week.
We are.
And open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner on
We're every day but Sunday.
every day but Sunday, and lunch on Sunday.
Right.
Folks, you need to come out. I'm telling you, it is good.
I can attest to that. I've tasted the food, and it is great. We are going to talk to you about Halloween safety.
And I see you've got your costume on, or at least your teeth, Bubba.
I have my teeth in.
Oh, he's ready for Halloween, folks, you know?
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat. Well, listen, I want to talk to you a little bit about Halloween safety. And when you take your grandchild out, this is something you need to remember, and all of you who may be going trick-or-treating with your grandkids, your kids, one of the first things that I wanted to mention is that you need to check, as bad as it sounds, the sex offender registry.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about that?
Actually, I have, and it's a sad state of affairs that we have to think about.
Yes,
that, but
it
I
really
have.
is. But before you head to certain streets that you're not real familiar with the people, go to www.tbi.tn.gov. That's tbi.tn.gov. On the right side of the page, when you get there, then look over there and look at the sex offender registry, and it will show you any sex offenders that are in your community and what roads they live on. You might want to avoid those roads. Also, some things to keep in mind is teaching your children not to talk to just everybody, never get in the cars with anyone. And the main thing is, Billy, is reminding them to go where they say they're going to go, whether it's to a party. Make sure they have a way to get in touch with you and that you keep your cell phones on, and the numbers are pre-programmed to reach parents. You know, that's a big thing, because if they were abducted in some way, and heaven forbid, they would need a way to reach their parents.
Well, it's just good common sense things.
It really is. Another thing is, it's best if, for young children, if parents go with them, drop them off, watch where they go, make sure that their outfits, their costumes are flame retardant, and if you can, it's good to put little stripes for the lights to reflect,
Right.
so that they don't get run over, and how to cross a road properly. I mean, a lot of kids don't know. And then another thing is to make sure that you check your children's I guess, candy. Make sure that the candy is not just something that they've picked up or that's not been opened, that's not commercially packaged, you know.
Okay, and then one last thing, there's several organizations like fire halls or churches that have
Yes.
fall festivals at the same time. And if you feel uncomfortable with your child walking the streets, you can take them to one of those. And I know they would love to have you, even
sure
if you're
would.
not a attender of that church. That's why they do this, to help the kids to have a place to go. And I guess, is there anything else on safety?
Just stay safe this Halloween and watch your kids closely.
Stay safe. We're still at Pleasant Shade, Tennessee, one of the most beautiful places in the world, I can tell you, because I live in Lancaster and it's a lot like that, except one thing they got in Pleasant Shade we don't have. They got a really good restaurant here.
They
so
do.
You need to come check that out. Janie, I think you wanted to tell us about the Jamie Edvitz fundraiser that's going
now
on.
I know some folks will not see this before the fundraiser, but it's October the 12th, and we want to invite you to come out. It's the Jamie Edvitz Scholarship Benefit, which provides scholarships to high school seniors who are planning to go into college or other type of education. And so far, we have given almost $50,000 in scholarships away to 43 different high school students in Smith County.
That's wonderful.
So it's been a wonderful, wonderful program. Every year this happens, usually sometime in October. It's been moved up, normally the end of October. This year, October the 12th. And I've got to just tell you a few highlights that we're going to have this year. Something new is we've got the Duck Dynasty Lookalike Contest. We've got 4 categories. We've got 5 and under, 6 to 11, 12 to 17, and 18 and over. If you want to look like Miss Kay, you can dress up like Miss Kay. If it's Uncle Si, if it's Cousin Willie or whatever, you know, they can dress up. And by the way, we've got some pretty doggone good prizes for that. We've got $50 first place prize, $25 second place prize in the Duck Dynasty Lookalike Contest. We also have a Scarecrow contest. This is the first time we've done it too. And the Scarecrow contest this year, we have a first place prize of $50, second place prize $25, and a third place $10 prize. And we've also got a youth 12 to 17 category and adult 18 and over. So they have to be a life-size, homemade scarecrow. Yeah. Now the kids can be smaller, okay? But the adults have to be life-size. Good prize money in both categories of that one. And we also have our annual chili cook-off, and we normally have about 20-something pots of chili brought in, which is what we serve for lunch. So we do use your chili. But this year, instead of ribbons, we're giving $50 first prize, $25 second prize, $10 third prize. This year also that's new, Billy, we've got a dunking booth. And Mayor Nesbitt's going to be in there. Sheriff Hopper's going to be in there. And who knows who else?
You've cleared this for these guys. They're going to do this.
Yes, they know they're going to be in there.
Oh, my goodness.
Took a little arm tugging and pulling and a twisting maybe. But, yeah, and some other folks, too. And we've got singing going on. The biggest thing, though, is the auction. So if you're hearing this before October 12th, don't miss this auction. And we've got a wonderful lunch that we're going to be serving, a whole meal for $5. Fresh homemade barbecue, homemade desserts. I mean, it's going to be great.
And we're going to list this on the Chamber website. So if you don't know where to find out about it and where it is,
yes,
you can go to www.smithcountychamber.org and look that up. And I don't know, is there another website as well?
Yes, it's Facebook, and it's the 2013 Jamie Edvitz scholarship benefit, I think is how it's, and all the items that people have donated, you know, there's like a steel shop vac that's been donated. We've got some antique knives that have been donated. We've got so much stuff. Billy Dean and some other stars have autographed a guitar that we're going to be auctioning off.
Oh, yeah.
We have big items. Pat Summitt has actually signed a basketball, and Johnny Majors has signed a football. So those are going up for auction as well.
That's going to be a valuable auction, to say the least.
We've got, I mean, I could go on and on. We've got so much. Please be sure, come out and join us. Starts at 10 o'clock. The contest starts at 10 o'clock, judging at 10:30. Be sure and be there. Usually our big auction starts about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You don't want to miss it. I'm telling you, it's going to be bigger than ever this year.
And this is a wonderful way to help the Edvitz family give back to the community.
Yes, after they lost their son, Jamie. So please come out and help us out with this wonderful. And by the way, if you're hearing this after October 12th, you can still donate. We would be glad to take money to go toward the scholarship program. You can call the Extension office at 735-2900, or you can call the co-op and ask for Philip Evetts, 735-0404.
Yeah, and they're going to have this again next year, and it'll be in October. So
sometime in October. We don't know yet.
So there's some things that they're just going to be annual events, and you can get involved anytime. Janie, you also wanted to talk about the Upper Cumberland Quilt Trail tours, and I just wanted to show something there. That has got to be the prettiest 1890 vintage barn I've ever seen.
I believe I recognize. Doesn't that belong to you?
Oh yeah, that's on my farm.
Yeah, that's actually his grandmother's quilt pattern. Her name was Tennessee Evergreen.
Tennessee Evergreen Lancaster, and we called her. I actually didn't get to meet her, but they called her Tenny.
Tilly. Well, Tenny. Well, folks, I'm telling you, we're having a quilt trail through the quilt tour through the Upper Cumberland Quilt Trail. It will be Friday, October 25th. They're bringing a busload of folks down here from Cookeville. It's where it's originating. But if you are local and you would like to be involved, we're actually going to be eating at the Pleasant Shade Restaurant that day, and we're going to make several stops, including a downtown stop, and we're going to have dessert out in Lancaster at Miss Jenny Bell's Tea Room. We're going to stop at several places. I think we're stopping at your quilt.
Okay, yes.
I think display.
They have a couple of times, and I've got to tell them about Tenny, and this time maybe I'll get the actual quilt out. We still have that.
Oh, that'd be great, but we're hoping to have a big crowd. But if you'd like to be a part of that, call the Extension office at 735-2900, and we'll get you signed up.
And then we want to talk about Hometown Christmas.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, this is going to be an event in Carthage right there on the square and up and down the streets. And we've got a lot of folks that are going to be involved, merchants in Gordonsville, all over the place. They're going to be kind of displaying what they can do on a Sunday. It's December the 1st. And what we're going to do is have the lighting of the Christmas tree. They usually have a Festival of Lights celebration, and so there's a lot of things going on for Hometown Christmas. And if you want to do some shopping, that's a good time to do it, because these guys are going to be showing what they've got, and there's a lot of folks that are going to be involved in that. So Hometown Christmas, and also there's a parade. And you need to come and see what all is going on. And I can't remember if it's the weekend before or after. There's also a parade in Gordonsville.
Yes.
So
I tell you what, I went last year. It was so pretty.
Oh yeah.
The Christmas tree lighting, the singing. I mean, it was just awesome. I loved it.
Oh yeah, they have carolers, and one of the churches, I believe it's the First Baptist, they'll be giving away hot chocolate, and there's just a lot of things going on. Santa Claus is going to be there. I'm going to tell him what I want for Christmas, and hopefully
does that mean we get to sit on his knee?
Yeah.
Oh wow! I haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah, and I've got. If you want to go, we're going to put some pictures up of some of the last year's events, and you can go and see what happened.
And that's going to be on the Chamber website.
That's going to be on the Chamber website,
There you go,
it's
folks.
really interesting and a lot of fun, and people really enjoy it. And I think. I know one year they had one of the kids' choirs sing, and we're going to see if we can't get that to happen this year. But there'll be more coming out about that, details about who's doing what when and where to be, and exactly when the parade's going to be and how that's going to go. So keep your eyes open for that.
And that, we'll probably talk about that a lot in November, so tune in again next month for that as well.
And then I wanted to let you know there's a lot going on in the Upper Cumberland. October the 1st through December the 1st. There's a traveling exhibition on emancipation called Free at Last, and that's the 150th anniversary of the Civil War, Tennessee Civil War National Heritage Area, and they've enlarged their exhibit. And if you want to know about that, you can go to www.granvilletennessee.com. And there's a lot of things going on at Granville. We're also going to go down and mention some more of that. There's Dogwood Festival.
Let's see. That's in Cookeville, I think, isn't it?
That is in Cookeville,
Let me see
and
what
it's
else.
by William Shakespeare and directed by Stephen W. Gilt. There's a play every night at 7 p.m. except for Wednesday, and it's free, and it's Dogwood Shakespeare in the Park, As You Like It, and that's October 4th through the 12th. So if you like Shakespeare, it'd be a good time for you to go up there.
Let's see, we've also got down at Red Bull and Springs at the Thomas House, the Ghost of the Inn at the Thomas House. And that's going to be October 4th, 5th, 11th, 12th, 18th, 19th, 25th, and 26th, just in time for Halloween.
And they've got a ghostly sighting tour, I believe, a candlelight tour at 7, and it's $25 per person. But that package includes the dinner, the show, and the candlelight tour. If you want information about that, you can go to I got all tied up there. ThomasHouseHotel.com, and you can see that one. And then the opening night of Ragtime at the Cumberland County Playhouse. And that's a play that they're doing there, and you can go to the ccplayhouse.com and get more information. That's October 11 through November the 16th, and I can tell you those
They do
plays.
great.
Oh, they do really great. And then let's see, what's next?
Well, on October 12th is the Jamie Evans Scholarship Benefit. Then on October 18th, Bluegrass at the Sparta Amphitheater. And you can look on the chamber, sparta-chamber.net, to get more information on that. Let's see, what's happening October 19th?
Well, now, let's skip back to October the 11th and 12th. Crossville's having Oktoberfest. And that's when they do German food and beverages, dancing, German polka bands, and it's rated pretty high. And you can find out about that at CrossvilleOktoberfest.com, and that's going on in October the 11th.
But we
and 12th.
want them to be here on the 12th.
Yes, we
for
do.
For the Jamie Evans.
Absolutely. And then let's see, you mentioned the Bluegrass at Sparta.
Yes, and the Fall Foliage Train Excursion is October the 19th, and that's going to go from Cookeville to Allgood, and just in time for all the fall foliage, so you might want to check into that. MustSeeCookeville.com.
And then the Ghostly Gathering at Historic Rugby. It's a very popular event, and it's on October the 19th and 26th, and you find that information on historicrugby.org.
And then on October the 19th, the Richard Starkey Experience takes place at the Sutton General Store again at Granville. So just look on that website for that, and you can learn more about that as well.
And that's GranvilleTN.com, and they do a lot of good stuff there. Opening night of A Sanders Family Christmas. Have you ever seen that?
Yes, I have.
It is hilarious.
It is.
I
really
love that
is.
show, and that's at the ccplayhouse.com up in Cumberland County.
And up in my neck of the woods where I live, although I stay here most of the time working, on October 25th, Cooking on the Square in Cookeville. And they have from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. great food for a great cause. Let's see, it's, I'm trying to remember, what was the cause for? I'm trying to find out. Anyway, it's a wonderful event. You need to come.
Okay, and then October the 26th, the group Catoosa Canyon is going to be at the Sutton General Store in Granville, starting at 6 p.m. and it's a full evening of music, and they're going to be on the Sutton Old Time Music Hour, and they broadcast that, and it doesn't say here when it is, but they're going to be serving dinner in the dining room there from 5 and at 6:30. So you can actually go down and have dinner and listen to some good music.
A lot of their stuff is live.
Yeah, and that's GranvilleTN.com. And then the Historic Hayride, and a lot of people don't know about this one. I really wanted to mention this, but it's on October the 12th. But if you can go to the Jamie Evans fundraiser, we would really like you to do that. Also, there is a limited amount of seats left on the Historic Hayride at Edgar Evans Park, and you actually could do both things. It's $10 per person, and there is a $20 non-refundable deposit for groups of 4 or more.
So they'll need to call the park office if you want to get in on that.
And there's a lot of, the point is there's a lot of stuff going on around here in October for you to do. So we hope you'll go out and just have some fun in October and just look around. There's a lot to do in Smith County. It's a great place to work, live, and play.
Yes, it is. Happy Halloween, folks. We are so glad that you joined us today. And happy fall, y'all.
Yeah, and we'll see you in November.